Hi, this is JT Romuto. Welcome to the Phillies Show.
Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, Todd Zolecki. How's everybody doing? It's Tuesday, December 16th, 2025.
Don't move it forward. I mean, it's already flying through here.
Don't rush.
You got to enjoy the holiday season.
One day at a time, bruh.
That's right. Open the advent calendar one day at a time.
Yeah.
Don't look forward to the 24th.
Slow it down.
How's everybody doing? We were actually thinking about doing a show on Monday, and then we said, yeah, let's push it till Tuesday. Well, I said, let's push it till Tuesday. And wouldn't you know it, down from the heavens, the Phillies make a move that gives us something fun to talk about. They have reached an agreement with right fielder Adolis Garcia. Pending a physical, expect an announcement sometime on Tuesday. Phillies have their right fielder in 2026. You guys want to jump in with any immediate thoughts when you guys heard the news? Ruben, why don't you start us? Or Jim?
I think we won't be doing the July trade deadline vigil for a right-handed bat if this works out the way they think it should, and the way we think it should. It seems every year they're out there looking for that right-handed bat. Well, they got it in the wintertime this year, and last trade deadline they got their closer, so we won't be doing the Phillies looking for a closer either in July. So they're buttoning up some business early going into this season. Ruben?
Yeah, I mean, I like Adolis Garcia. Is he the perfect fit? No. That's the reason why he's a free agent. I think that he has some ability. I think I've talked to some of their scouts and some of the people involved with the Phillies, and they do think he's a great bounce-back candidate. Very good defender in right field. Mm-hmm. That takes probably a little bit of pressure off what we think will be the center fielder in Justin Crawford. And if you have Martian left, that's a pretty damn good outfield. Not bad. I mean, even if you get an average outfield play out of a guy like Crawford, which you likely will get just because of his speed, you're looking at a pretty darn good outfield. And the right-handed power is important. There's no question about it. Not getting it from Castellanos that you thought you were going to get over the course of his career. It's pretty clear that Castellanos' days are pretty numbered. And, listen, I like the idea. I mean, we like the idea of bringing Kepler in for the similar reasons, but I think this guy's got more upside and more recent, more recent actual production. This guy's a beast, man. I mean, you put him in a uniform, he looks like a beast. And at the very least, he'll be scary somewhere in the lineup behind Harper and Schwarber, however they mix it around. Nice power bat from the right side and a talented outfielder to boot.
Yeah, he's streaky, but when he gets going, fun to watch, kind of emotion, plays with a lot of emotion, a lot of energy when he's going good. And he should, he could put up some numbers in Citizens Bank Park. I mean, everybody knows it's there. Look what he did in 2023. He's had a couple, he's gone down the last 2 years. Batting average not there, on base percentage not there, but power, he can hit some doubles, he can get hot, and there's a bounce back element to this. They need more from him, but he's going to bring more defensively. He's going to bring something defensively immediately while they wait to see what's there in the bat. And there is upside in that bat, and there is power, and very important is a right-handed threat in the middle of that order, behind Harper.
Well, so let's mention, you guys both mentioned the defense, and just looking at some numbers here, right? Baseball Savant, outs above average. That's their defensive metric. Adolis Garcia last year, +1 OAA, outs above average in right field. That ranked 12th out of 36 qualified right fielders in 2025. In comparison, Nick Castellanos tied for last, -12 outs above average. So that's an immediate upgrade. You go from literally the worst defender, one of the worst defenders at any position in all baseball, Nick Castellanos, to one of the better right fielders. Garcia also has a very good arm. We're going to bring back Jimmy's hose report on X. He would dial.
Jimmy, he's a hoser.
He's a hoser. Do you know where the hose report started?
Dominic Brown?
Yes. When he was in camp as a kid, I think it was even before he had been called up. He in Clearwater, he went to the Gap in right center and picked the ball up off the wall and threw a seed.
Yeah, he did. I remember.
I guess it was the second base, but he just threw this. You could hang clothes on it, And I tweeted, Dominic Brown shows off his big hose early in camp or something, and the Twitterverse went crazy, and that's where people started begging for give me a hose report. So that's where the hose report started. But Adolis Garcia can fire.
He can. So his arm strength, average arm strength, or elite throws, 91.9 miles an hour. That ranked 30th out of 196 qualified outfielders. So like literally one of the best throwers, hardest, best arms of any outfielder in baseball. Conversely, again, Castellanos' arm strength tied for 185th. So you go from one of the weakest arms, worst defenders, to one of the strongest arms, stronger defenders in right field. I'll be curious to see. His offensive numbers have definitely been in decline the last 2 years. He's a big swing and miss guy. So if you're looking for high contact, don't chase a lot, maybe close your eyes sometimes when Garcia is in a little bit of a slump. But I'll be curious to see maybe, Kevin Long, maybe he can find something in his swing that can get him to hit the ball, make some better decisions at the plate. Maybe have him swing and miss a little bit less. Looking at some of these advanced metrics, when he makes contact, he hits the ball really hard. Average exit velo last year, 92.1 miles an hour. That's in the 89th percentile of all hitters in Major League Baseball. Barrel rate, 11.6%, 73rd percentile. Hard hit rate, 46.7%, 70th percentile. So again, those numbers just tell you when he puts the bat on the ball, he can do damage with it. Just he needs to put the bat on the ball. So
no, you make a great point with K Long, and I think the front office, Dave Dombrowski, a lot of those guys really believe in Kevin Long as a guy that can help have guys make subtle adjustments. You saw it with Kyle Schwarber. You saw it with some other guys. You saw him in midseason make a little tweak with Bryson Stott to make him better. You saw the adjustment that, a guy like Brandon Marsh made. I mean, in April, he was terrible and literally he's hit 0, goes down, comes back, sort of regroups and stays on the plan and has a very good offensive year. So I think that means a lot. The fact that they have Kevin Long there, and then hopefully he can put his hands on him and his eyes on him and have some impact.
And for what it's worth, I heard Garcia is a good clubhouse guy as well. Seems to be well liked by his teammates and seems to be a decent person. So that
energy too. He's got some energy. He's not afraid to show some emotion on the field, which is okay.
I like that. I like that.
And we actually talked about Adolis Garcia the last 2 trade deadlines. And we talked about him often in the same sentence as Luis Robert of the Chicago Cubs, who was a guy the Phillies always are poking around on. I don't know how seriously, but they're always staying abreast on what it would take and what his availability is. They're always talking about him. I like this because it only cost you $10 million. It didn't cost you players that Luis Robert would have cost you, because I think the Chicago White Sox are still looking for something close to top notch for Luis Robert. I think maybe they're unreasonable given the production and the price tag on the guy financially. Maybe they'd eat some. I don't know, but I like this pickup, this edition, more than that one.
Right.
And I especially like that they're going to get something from day one. They're going to get something defensively, and that's important.
Yeah, so we're talking about a low risk, high reward type of a guy.
Yep.
You've talked about it before. Have they worked out the Merrifields and the Keplers? Not totally. But I mean, again, a very good risk on a player who's had some success and he sort of fits the bill in certain other areas. And hopefully the contact piece becomes a little bit better.
Yeah. We're going to talk
Where would
about.
you hit him? Where would you guys hit him? 4th? Or down a spot or 2 from there?
Well, it sounds like Bohm may stay now. Yeah. And if Bohm's going to stay, he's probably going to hit 4th. I would think Bohm would hit 4th. I think then you'll have a left-handed hitter hitting 5th. Might be Marsh, might be somebody else, and then you'll probably have a Garcia hitting in the 6th hole.
because that swing and miss be tough in the cleanup spot,
Right.
Behind Harper. Guys know that they don't have to give Harper anything because they can strike the next guy out. So I think I might be tempted to, a 6 is still in the middle, in my opinion. So
It's an RBI slot. You can get 70 to 80 RBIs from there. To me, it's pretty fluid. If they don't have that fourth hitter, if they don't have the Greg Luzinski, then you're probably looking at something that's pretty fluid. It could be JT 2 weeks. It could be Alec Boehm a couple of weeks. It could be Adolis Garcia. It could be a little fluid situation depending on who's hot.
And that's kind of what they did this year. They shuffled a lot of guys in and out of that spot.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Right after these words, we're going to talk about what we kind of already know, which is Nick Castellanos' future, but also, does this spell the end of Harrison Bader's time with the Philadelphia Phillies? Be right back.
For all the parents out there with teenagers like Kratz, we know life's a little crazy.
Yeah, Cash App's here to not add to the craziness. They're here to help.
Yeah, Kratz, Cash App is designed to meet teens aged 13 to 17 where they are with intuitive educational tools. Available through sponsorship by an eligible parent or guardian, teens gain access to a personalized Cash App card. With the Cash App card, you and your teen's balances receive 24/7 fraud monitoring, and if something ever feels off, you have the ability to lock their card right from your phone in just one tap. Download Cash App and get started today. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code FAMILY10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
We're back. Don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't done it yet, what's the matter? Hit the subscribe button. Support the Phillies show if you can, and also go to the philliesshowshop.com. Use the promo code HOLIDAY for 10% off all your Phillies show gear. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to the philliesshowshop.com.
Still plenty of time to get your Christmas gifts. Plenty of time.
Some good stocking stuffers in there.
What are you doing? What are you waiting around for? Subscribe. Enjoy.
Subscribe and enjoy. I love it, Ruben. I love it. Okay, so we broke down what we like about the Garcia deal, or what we think about the Garcia deal. The least surprising thing is that he is going to replace Nick Castellanos in right field. We've been talking for months about how Nick won't come back. Last week at the winter meetings, trying to check around, and if anybody's interested in Nick Castellanos, I couldn't find anybody. I've heard people say I'm not interested at any price in Nick Castellanos, mentioning the defense is a big reason why. So, another person I talked to said if Nick is traded at all, it will happen much later in the offseason when every other option falls off the board. Maybe the last team standing that still needs a right-handed bat will want to make a trade with the Phillies for Nick Castellanos. Not a
sort of an interesting wake-up call for Nick Castellanos, because as most athletes, probably believes that he's got a lot more value, a lot more to give than maybe some of these teams feel his value is. And, it can be a little disheartening for a player to have that feeling that you can't, that you're not all that interesting to a particular team. Even some of the teams like, you see the Royals going hard on outfielders. That the Miami Marlins need outfielders. There's a lot of teams who need outfield play and outfield production, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of play on the man.
It also can be because he's going to be somewhere, either by a trade where they eat a load of money or a release. He's going to be somewhere. It also could be a motivator, a chip on his shoulder.
Of course.
So
his last season.
We'll see.
His last season under this contract, no doubt.
So what do we think about Harrison Bader? Does this kind of spell the end of his time? We got Garcia in right, probably Crawford in center, probably Martian left. You have Otto Kemp that the Phillies have been talking a lot about this offseason as playing a role in this team, that he can hit and he can hit the ball hard. And You can hit for some power. He seems like he's going to be involved. You also have Weston Wilson on the 40-man roster. You have Johan Rojas on the 40-man roster. You can throw Kyle Schwarber out there for 3 or 4 games next season in left field if you need to. Who else do they have on the 40-man roster? Pedro Leon has some, is a guy they have on the 40-man roster as well.
Did you mention Rincones?
Rincones.
Yeah, and Gabriel Rincones is also on the 40-man roster, who they've mentioned possibly helping them at some point. So is there a path for Harrison Bader, do you guys think, to return?
Not at 3 and 45, which is what I hear he's looking for. I don't blame him to set that mark, but I think their major expenditure the rest of the way here is JT, and not sure what they would have left for Harrison Bader, which this looks to me like they've acquired their outfielder, and they're going to go forward with Crawford or Marsh in center field, and one of them in left, one of them in center, and that's going to be your outfield with Garcia.
Yeah, and I think Otto Kemp is probably a guy that would probably do some platooning in left field with Marsh against tough left-handers. I think that they probably have some confidence in that kid having some success because I think he can swing the bat. I know that Topper really likes him, and he did. When he came back after his stint down in the minor leagues, he came back, swung the bat well for him, did well for him. So the only way I see a pathway to get Bader is by moving a guy like Bohm and that salary. And I just don't see that happening as they stand today. Is it a possibility? Of course. But I just don't see that happening unless what they get from Bohm is like a lockdown 8th inning guy that they can control for a couple of years. And then, get some relief on that salary that he's going to command, which is probably around $11 million, which is probably close to the number that Harrison Bader is going to command.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I heard last week at the winter meetings. If they re-sign both Schwarber and Real Muto, they probably would be out on Bader, at that current asking price, unless they move some salary. So you never know. You can't rule it out. It'd be great if Harrison Bader somehow came back to the Phillies, and now you have some extra options and flexibility. Maybe you could flip off another. You could trade Brandon Marsh or whatever. But it seems kind of unlikely at this. Unlikely wouldn't stun me. I would be a billion times more stunned if Nick Castellanos was in a Phillies uniform in Clearwater on February 10th. And then, right, I know. I'm saying then Harrison Bader. I would be. Yeah.
And I think Bohm is going to be mentioned throughout the winter as the Bichette Bregman market clears up. Once that clears up, you might see some interest in him for the team, that's left with an opening at third.
Yeah, and Suarez too. Suarez didn't sign either yet, right? Eugenio.
Yeah, he hasn't signed. Yeah, he'd have to.
So those 3 guys have to kind of come off the board, I think, before people start thinking more seriously about what Alec Bohm can bring to the table and his value.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. We'll see. Again, Adolis Garcia could be introduced as early as Tuesday as the Phillies' new right fielder. Guys, what do we think before we go on what the Mets have been doing and what the Braves have been doing, but particularly the Mets? So they've let Pete Alonso go, Edwin Diaz go, Brandon Nimmo go, and to replace them, they got Jorge Polanco, Devin Williams, and Marcus Semien. And Mets fans are just losing their minds. Have just exploded. These 3 long tenured Mets, part of the core. David Stearns is just blowing it up.
They are not running it back.
No, they are. They are not.
And with good reason. I mean, they did not play well. It wasn't a good team. So when you don't have a good team, what do? You make change. I think Polanco's going to be a productive player.
$20 million. Wow.
Little heavy.
Heavy.
But I mean, if he produces and they do well with him, then who cares what he's paid? Now, I don't know that he's going to have the same sort of year that he put together in Seattle, particularly at the end and playoffs stuff. Wow, he went nuts.
He was stud.
So there's some recency bias there on his season. But, you mix it up. If you're not having success, I think culture-wise, And I don't know if Nimmo and Alonso were the guys who were part of the culture problem, but there seemed to be a culture issue. And that culture issue is being dealt with by David Stearns. Not sure if it's the right people that have been bounced, but it seems like she's trying to make change, not just for change's sake.
Yeah, it's
Well,
interesting.
the what's been written about is Lindor
So,
Soto having
Right.
not having chemistry, shall we say.
Yeah. They don't like each other. How about that? They don't dig each other.
They
And
don't
it's
dig each
tough
other.
when you have two Latin American players who don't care for each other, not from the same country, but there's two players that, that are probably the most important
Yeah.
players they have,
And they're studs.
super stud players who don't get along well. That's not good.
it's not
I
good.
learned that from Mr. Gillick.
No bueno.
We talked about that a lot. When you have, guys from the same culture who don't, not necessarily the same culture. I shouldn't say that because they come from two different countries, but both Latin American players, and they're just not, doesn't seem like they're gelling all that well. Maybe they have a little bit of an epiphany.
Yeah.
They bring it together and get it together.
They might need to go on like a wintertime retreat.
Why not?
Darkness retreat, like Aaron Rodgers did.
Yeah.
Go sit in a room with no cell phones.
Yeah.
What about the Braves, guys? The Braves, they've
Loading
signed.
up that pen. They're loading up that pen, baby.
The pen is looking good. The pen is looking good. Robert Suarez, of course, signed a 3-year, $45 million deal. He's going to be the setup man for Raisel Iglesias, who's back on a 1-year, $16 million deal. They also signed Mike Yastrzemski. Yes.
I'll be excited to see him in the division.
Yeah,
I love
it.
it.
Come backwards a little bit. He's a decent player. He's not an impact player. He's a decent, solid major league player.
He's going to be their fourth outfielder, I think. They got Profar coming back from suspension. You got
He's got a
Michael
great
Harris.
swing. I love his swing.
Yeah.
And his grandpappy was my all-time favorite player.
So then you're going to be rooting for him. Good for you.
That's why I have that license plate behind me. You
I
ever
know,
see
but
that?
yes, or we can't
That's fine, I
see
can't
that on
see
the
it.
screen right now. There
See
you go.
that?
Yes.
You know what that is? What is it, Todd?
Yastrzemski and Bobby Orr together.
Yeah. Yazor.
Yazor, yeah.
Massachusetts license plate.
Absolutely.
I was going to get that plate, but that would last 3 minutes. Somebody would steal that.
You can put certain bolts on there that they can't steal. I've had my license plate stolen and I had to have that done. And it wasn't even a vanity plate.
When you had, remember we had the license plate "Love to Hit"?
And then Crucky said, "But can't."
Somebody put white tape and wrote "but can't."
Oh my
I tried to write a story about that, but Kruk denied it.
He denied it because he sent somebody else to do it.
Uh,
I think it was Phil Sheridan.
Oh my God.
Love to Hit. LUV number 2 HIT.
I did love to hit. Didn't mean I could hit.
That's right. Who doesn't love to hit?
Oh God.
That's why when you coach Little League, right? You always save your hitting for the end of practice because the kids all love to hit. And
That's the nugget. That's the nugget.
Right. That's the little carrot. So you do all your defensive work early, and then they get revved up again toward the end of practice when they take some hacks.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, that was fun, guys. We'll be back later this week. We're gonna maybe talk about what Adolis Garcia had to say. I guess maybe Dave Dombrowski will speak about it as well and what it means for the Phillies outfield situation in 2026, and maybe what else, if he's going to offer any other clues about what might be coming down the pike.
You're looking at 66% of the outfield being different.
There's some change.
Crawford in center, Adolis Garcia in right. That's different.
That's different. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And let's see what happens with JT Realmuto coming up the next couple of weeks, maybe. So, guys, talk to you later.
All right, boys. Smell you later.
Smell you, James.
The Philly Show is brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Subscribe to The Philly Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.